What's up, guys? I'm Sifu Rafi Dudarian. I hope you're having a great day today. On this video, we're going to be showing you some disarming techniques, single stick disarming. Some people love disarms, some people don't. There's always internet discussion about whether you should practice them or not. I think they're good to know. Keep in mind, in application, a disarm isn't something you're looking for necessarily. It's just something that sort of happens, sometimes even by accident. So let's get started. We're going to start with some easy vine disarms. As always, I'm here with my student Tony. So off of a one line, we're going to strike, grab, and come back. Okay, so you could find yourself in this position in a lot of different ways, but I'm just going to show the more common ways that these disarms are taught. So the idea might be I'm hitting his hand, or I could be blocking and coming off of his weapon, and then I'm holding it here. Now, for years, I was taught to just lay the stick across and strip it out. Okay, so a lot of people still teach it that way. It isn't wrong, but when I was working with Guru and Asanto, he did show me a way that he prefers, and as always with Guru, it's better, right? So when we do the vine disarm, we're going to come back and keep it much tighter, because if I go here, he can grab it. Okay, and then he can counter me. See what he just did? So after we go here, we're going to come in, and I'm just laying this as tight as I can onto his wrist. And the application, of course, is to go wham and really crack it. Okay, and then that alone would probably have him drop it. But for training purposes, we strip it out that way, and then we have two sticks. Okay, so I'm just going to take a step in a little tighter so you can maybe see that. Okay, so we block. We counter it, we come back and hit it, and then from here we push down. Okay, so let me show it now from this side. Okay, so I have the block, I grab it, you could counter it there if you wanted to, counter it there, come back, lay it here nice and tight, remember don't go deep, and then from here just strip it out. Okay, so that is a very basic fine disarm. The other way we can do it is when he strikes, we go to here, you can do it with the punyo and wrap it out that way, okay? Not my favorite, but it is taught. You strike here, come back here, and then take it out over your weapon like that, okay? Another way I've seen this done also is to come through and just crash right through with your arm here like that, okay? And the application there, of course, it is I'm coming through, would be hitting across the head. So those would be outside vine disarms. I want to go to the inside now. So from here, what would happen is I'd enter the same way. I would block it, grab his weapon, I'd come across, and then the first thing I'm going to do is I smash him here, and if you can see, my punyo is right here in his weapon, and I take it out that way. Okay, so we go here. Block across, we strike across, we hit here, and as we hit, I'm coming right into this spot right here on his hand, okay, right above his stick, and then from here, I strip it out. Okay, so let's show that from this side. Okay, so I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I take it out, okay, and then we have two weapons, and you can get into your Sinwali patterns and all that good stuff. So the next one I want to do is, again, from the outside, but from here, and this time I'm going to use the tip of the weapon, so, or the punto. I come here, I hook it across, and strip it out that way. Okay, so I'll show it again from the other side in a second. You go here, you come across. You could go right for the disarm, but when you can hit, it's always better. So you could hook, place it here, and then strip it out there. 1, 2, hook it, and see how I'm laying it? I'm just going to move my hand for a second. So I'm laying it in right on top of his thumb, and we strip it out that way. So there's a couple of very basic vine disarms. Next, we're going to go into the snake disarms, and these are, again, pretty basic stuff. So when he strikes at angle 1, I come here, and I'm going to wrap around, and there would be a hit in here too, of course, okay? And my fingers, sometimes I see people doing it palm up. I've always been taught to do it palm down, okay? So again, from here, I strike, I wrap, and I keep this nice and tight. If I give too much space, he can pull it right out. So we want to keep that just as tight as we possibly can, and you could hit here and pull it out there. So let's show this now on the other side. Okay, so we come in here, 1, 2. You see that? That's nice and tight. Just think of it like a finger bugee if you do the Chinese arts, or just, a fingertip strike or something. Just keep that in there nice and tight. Take it out here. The second snake comes off of the angle 2 or the backhand. So when Tony strikes me here, I'm going to do a hit. It would actually be on the hand, of course, but we're hitting the stick for training to here. And then I palm up, I come around, and now it's the same idea as what I did a second ago, but I'm just on the outside, and I strip it out that way. So we teach it to go strip and send, or I grab it and I do a strip and keep, and then I've got 2 weapons. One more time. Palm up, ride it around, keep that palm up, and see how it cradles right in there? And then keep these fingers up and just point them down like that and launch the weapon. So we've done some vine disarms, and those were 2 snake disarms. The next 2 are just some simple strips. So when we go angle 1, I'm going to grab the top of his hand and bring it up. Okay? So let's just show that again. From here, block, and I grab the hand. Maybe I was going for the stick and I wound up on the hand, or something like that. I'm just going to bring it up, and then from here, this is what we call a low forearm strip. So I'm just going to come from here and strip it out like that. Okay, so we go 1, 2, 3. 1, you bring it low. Don't try and use your weapon. A lot of people will do this when they're first learning the technique. They think this will be stronger, but there's just not enough friction. It's too slippery. So you've got to come in with your forearm and just go straight back there, and that'll take the weapon out and you hit, and you can go into throwing or whatever you like. Okay, now the second one off of that would be to do it higher. So I go here, and then I bring it up really high like that, and from here I would shoot it into his face. Okay, so sometimes we'll get the soft sticks out, the foamies, and we'll practice ejecting it right into our partner's face, okay? If you're doing this, I recommend when you're doing this side, when you're being disarmed, just keep one hand up just to be on the safe side, and go slow. And you would strip it and follow it up there as well. So we've gone a couple of vines, we've done some snakes, and a couple of forearm strips with your high, and a forearm strip doing it low. Okay, there's one more I want to show because I think it's just important. It has a technique that I believe is very important to know when we're talking about disarming. So if Tony gives me a backhand, if you notice, I would be hitting here, of course, in application, but I hit the stick and I grab the top of his hand and I hook his thumb. Okay, this was taught to me by Hawkeye. He impressed this upon us almost like a religion. Whenever you grab the hand, you seek the thumb. And when you seek the thumb, you can take the disarm. Now, what happens sometimes is people will do this technique. They'll grab the wrist and they'll go to the disarm, and look at how much play there is, okay? Look at how far it goes before he strips. I can't even strip it. But when I hold it here and I have that thumb, what happens is I pry that thumb off and there is no way he can hold on to that weapon, okay? So that's actually important, and it might seem like kind of a fine motor skill, almost too cutesy to be something you want to practice in a combative art, but I can tell you, if you practice it enough, your hand has a mind of its own. It will just find the thumb. It'll be subconscious. You won't even think about it, okay? So that is an important thing on those backhanded strikes. So when he comes here again, okay, we go. 1, I grab this, and I could bring it high too, and the same idea as I did before. I could snap it into his face. I'm not going to do that right now. But you see how I've got the thumb, and then afterwards you've got locking and so on and so forth. So very important technique. Now that we've done some disarming, let's learn how to counter some of them. Every technique has a counter. All you guys out there know that, and every counter has a counter. That can get really involved, but I think it's a good thing to know at least one counter for the disarms. I can't show you all of them today, of course, but believe it or not, once you get the idea of it, you have your partner try and do a disarm on you, you guys will figure it out, believe me. So the first one we're going to work on is just against the vine. So Tony's going to go through, and what I do is I grab it here. I intercept him, and then I just strip it down like that. And if you noticed, I grabbed his thumb. You can't not do it if you're doing it enough. So slowly, he comes through with the vine, and then from here, I just come in here and I eject it out. Okay? Now, if you've got someone who does it the first way I showed at the beginning, where they go really deep, it's really easy. So if he comes in here, it's a lot easier to get the stick out. Okay? So let's just show that from this side here, just to be thorough. Okay, so here he comes in, and I come in and grab, and just take the weapon out. Okay, so that's the first counter. The second one's going to come off of the snakes, the angle 1 and the angle 2. So now when I go here, and Tony snakes around, what I'm going to do is I grab my weapon, and I come to here and take him down. Okay, so I go here, as he wraps, I come in here, grab my weapon, bring it down, and take him right to the ground, okay? And on the angle 2, I come in angle 2, he goes to here, he starts to strip me, and here I take him out that way, and then bring him down, okay? So we'll show that again. From angle 2, my fault, sorry. From angle 2, he starts to bring it around. Right there, I move in, and I use, you see how I'm here, my hand is here? So I've got him pretty good, and I can launch him, okay? If you wanted to, if you're into, stand-up locking, what will happen is he goes here, you can abandon your stick and just go to the empty hand and then crack him here, okay? Well, that's it for basic disarming and disarm counters. I hope you guys liked it. If you do, say something in the comments below.